So either we will feed off of the people around us to keep giving us permission until we find the strength within ourselves, or we'll keep relying on them eternally for that strength and become codependent, or we will authentically move into a place where we can give ourselves our own permission to say, F it, I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna move on with my life as I am. Hey YouTube, Alexa here, helping you to make sense of spiritual and health related I'm talking today about something I like to call permission slips. I had a meditation this morning and this idea came to my head and I was like, oh my god, why haven't I thought of this before? And it's basically something that I think a lot of people talk about, but I don't think I've ever seen it in this way. And I really like the lens that I put on it. I think it helps me to understand myself a little bit better, as well as, of course, other people. So I wanted to share what I mean when I say permission slips. A lot of people grow up thinking that they are wrong for wanting what they want, or that they are undeserving of the things that they are asking for, or undeserving of the life that they live. They think that they are wrong for feeling something or wanting something, or they're undeserving of it. And this comes from a place of being really out of your own power, which is why it's really attractive to see people who know what they want and they're confident about it. They're not cocky about it, but they're confident because it's someone in their power. It's someone who is very magnetic in who they are as a whole being. You know, there's this huge good bad paradigm that a lot of people I think are starting to become aware of, like something may be negative in my life, but to me it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. If I look at balance and the concept of yin yang and having, a good balance, it's important to me that I'm able to feel emotions like happiness as well as emotions like pain. No, I don't want to feel pain. No, I don't want to be in pain 24/7, but I recognize that there's an inherent value there. And for someone to tell me that it's wrong to feel that is sort of going into that good bad paradigm, and that can be a really toxic place to be coming from if what people around you are saying is right does not align with how you feel. And so then we get caught in this complex of I feel guilty for being sad, or I feel guilty for being unhappy, or I feel bad about being unhappy. It's okay to be upset, and I don't need someone else to tell me that it's okay. I need to feel for myself that it's okay. That's where things become really, really important. And during my meditation this morning, the idea of permission came to my mind. There are a lot of people in this world around us that give us permission to work hard, to get better, to perfect ourselves, to improve. We live in a culture that is very perfectionistic. So to need permission to be better or to do better, that permission slip is everywhere. I think increasingly less people give permission slips to explore or to question things or to be creative or to try to be understanding, permission to think critically, to process. These permissions are not as widely known. There's a decent amount of people out there that don't necessarily give the subconscious permission to you to question authority. And there's this weird duality because a lot of systems will encourage you to think critically, but also as soon as you question the authority, there's this little ego charge that kind of gets oh, what do you think you're doing? And it sends a subconscious signal to you. Is this the right decision? I don't know if this is the right decision. The permission to think critically, be open, be understanding, and to be explorative, it's out there, but it's less so than the permission to work hard and get better. The thing that I think I've seen the least amount of permission for in my own experience with people around me as well as with myself is permission to rest, permission to accept things, to be okay, to let things go, and to move forward with life. That is a permission that we as a society do not give each other in very high amounts. I think because of our egos, honestly. A lot of the things that I've just mentioned, like acceptance and letting go, require you to shut down your ego to a degree, and the ego is there to help keep you safe. And anytime it feels like it is not safe or not secure or it's in danger, it's going to fire red flags and you're going to have knee-jerk reactions or triggers to things. So I have yet to be completely surrounded by people who are accepting of themselves and everyone around them resting and being at peace and just living. It is so hard to find permission to just live. And I don't think this boils down to any single person. I know I've struggled with giving myself permission to do that as well. I think as a society, it's really hard for us to embrace letting go. So how are permission slips awesome and how do they suck? Permission slips are awesome because when you have a quote-unquote permission slip to be yourself, it is so invigorating because you're like, woo, I can be myself. This feels fucking awesome. I feel comfortable, I feel at home, I feel at peace, I don't feel judged, I feel accepted. That shit is the best. The point where it becomes limiting is where you rely on other people to give you the permission, and that puts you in a position where you require something external to give you permission to internally be who you are and to externally show who you are. So either we will feed off of the people around us to keep giving us permission until we find the strength within ourselves, or we'll keep relying on them eternally for that strength and become codependent, or we will authentically move into a place where we can give ourselves our own permission to say, F it, I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna move on with my life as I am, as a whole, complete being. And I'm not saying that we don't need connection. I think we absolutely need connection, 100%. And I think we absolutely need to be around people who love and accept us. That is really important. It's the being able to love and accept yourself should not rely on what other people do or think. Way easier said than done. Permissions also don't have to come in the form of other people. They can come in the form of substances. One really interesting one to me is alcohol and or drugs. They give us permission to be different. So this is just a theory, but I think a really interesting concept of exploration is looking to alcohol or drugs as permission to do or feel X, Y, or Z. And I mean, neurologically, of course, there are explanations for this. I'm sure there's more scientific explanations. Totally respect that. I'm not speaking out against that at all. But I do want to bring this idea up that I've seen a lot of people become addicted to a substance because that substance is what gives them, they feel the freedom to feel or do things that are true to where they are. For instance, if I'm really upset with life and I want to turn to alcohol because it allows me to feel upset without judging myself, because I can say, well, I'm upset, and because I'm drinking alcohol, I'm allowed to cry. That's one example. Another example, which is more closely aligned with what I personally have dealt with, is like letting go and being happy. Like drugs or alcohol can really help you to just feel free and to feel light. And sometimes it's hard for us to give ourselves permission to feel free and light if we feel like, I can't feel these things, I can't be happy, I'm carrying all this weight, I have this heavy burden, and I can't let it go. So if I can't let it go, I definitely shouldn't be happy. And then when you turn to a substance or something to bring you that sense of happiness, it's very liberating. It feels very freeing because you're like, I can finally just be happy with like the way that things are and where things are. And that's so cool. But if you are relying on that substance to get you there, my theory is that that is where things can get dangerous and possibly addictions can start to creep in. Addictions also don't have to apply to just drugs, alcohol. They can apply to people as well, and like codependency. For a really long time, I felt like it's not okay to want other people. You have to be independent. You can't rely on anyone for anything. You have to do everything yourself. Then I hit a point where I was like, I need people to make me feel loved or accepted or whatever. I feel too alone. They're both very different sides of the spectrum, but they both illuminate this concept or this notion that I need permission to be at peace or to be happy or to be whatever, either from being independent and alone or from having a partner. When realistically, it needs to come from within. It needs to come from within who you are, within yourself. And your partner is just a reflection of your level of acceptance for who you are. Feelings of codependency also give us a permission slip to feel things like self-hate or self-love, depending on whether or not someone rejects or accepts us. This is where it becomes really empowering to be able to give yourself that permission. Like, I give myself permission to love who I am, even if no one around me is reflecting that. I don't need someone else to justify that I'm working really hard, that I'm growing as a person, that I am, X, Y, or Z. I don't need something external to validate that. Another concept of permission slips is the permission to let go and to be light. This is by far, I think, the hardest one I have dealt with. I have had a lot of people tell me, Alexa, you're too serious. Stop taking life too seriously. Life's not that serious. It's okay. I have heard that so much, and I heard it enough to a point where I was like, okay, this is a pattern. I know I need to be more playful in my life. I'm trying to find ways to do that and to not be so much of a goddamn perfectionist, because I definitely have perfectionist tendencies in me. The idea that it's okay to be okay is a huge light bulb moment for a lot of us when it happens. Like, I don't need to take it all seriously all the time. A lot of my personal journey has been giving myself permission to unblock those like subconscious beliefs and let go of them so that I can have like a freer, more playful, more fun and energizing life. As a society, I think we also see rewards as being a permission slip. So if you do something and you get rewarded for it, it's in a way like a permission slip to you, like, oh, it's okay to do that. So for instance, if you get something out of the picture, like money or promotion or status or something like that's really positive for you, that's a positive reinforcement. Like, oh, I should work more because I'm gonna make more money, or I should be nice because then other people are gonna be nice to me. It's basically a subconscious permission slip to you to do something knowing that it's good and it will be rewarded, whereas the punishments are like the polar opposite. Punishment is like taking away permission slip. So what this can look like is if you are really emotionally turbulent around a partner and they say like, don't bring that shit around me, I don't want to deal with your emotions, that can feel like I am being revoked a permission slip. I cannot feel X, Y, or Z in front of you because that's not okay, or that's not good, or that is bad. And that's another place where I can be mindful, like, oh, I'm starting to slip into that good bad paradigm. I should probably get myself out of there and look to myself to have permission to be who and what and how I am authentically in this exact moment. So there's crows calling outside, there's a cat meowing outside the door. It's just chaos in here, but I hope everything that I said makes sense. In a nutshell, if you find that you are constantly looking for permission slips from other people, whether it's to be funny or to be lighthearted, or whether it's to be serious, to be studious, to be yourself, to be expressive, whatever it is that you feel like you need permission to do, my encouragement for you would be try to understand, where are you relying on something external for those permissions? Is that something that you're capable of shifting? And if it is something that you're capable of shifting, try to really understand that component of yourself to a point where you can give yourself the permission to be, say, and do authentically everything that you are. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, follow my Instagram channel if you're on the gram at Alexa B Health Architect. Stay tuned. Again, make sure that you subscribe. I post videos every single week, so if you want to catch my content, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's serious. We'll see. It all kind of changes, but it's all very true and authentic to what my journey is and what I'm going through.
Blah, 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 me.
Okay, thanks for watching. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.